Related.
Exactly. Right on, man. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Caliber Corner. We are live. Happy Saturday to everybody. It's 8 a.m. Central Time here in God's country, a.k.a. Nebraska. We're ready to get started. We're well caffeinated. We've had a wonderful pre-chat discussion where we were talking about computers and Windows 11 and expensive guns. And we're ready to get things fired up. So today we are talking about pistol caliber carbines. We're going to cover many different models and many different brands. I'm sure we won't cover everything. I'm sure there's something we're probably going to forget. But everything from, the 44 mag, 357 mag lever gun, all the way down to the CMMG Banshee. I own a few of these, so I can comment on some of these. But if anybody out there is watching and you own any of the models that we talk about, feel free to chime in. And I know people on the panel here have got some PCCs themselves. And anyway, so let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. Let's get things started here. We've got Single Shot joining us. Single Shot, how's it going, man? How you doing today? You good?
Oh, beautiful day here in Georgia. Got nice bright sunshine and right around 50 degrees, so it's not too bad.
Nice.
Been a really crazy week this week.
Okay.
And I got a funny feeling that it's going to remain that way for a while because we're trying to get everything squared away through the company and everybody prepared for the holidays and stuff. So
you're talking about work. You're talking about employment. The job.
What's that?
You talking about the job?
Oh yeah.
Work. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're 2 drivers down right now, so that's really hurting the system pretty bad. They've had our mechanic for the big trucks has been out for about a week now. He's been sick. So being 2 drivers short, that puts the boss man out on the road himself. So
that's good for him to stay humble. It's good for him to get out there and just have a reminder of how things are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's awesome for him to be like, well, this is what the team needs. Let's do it, and he's
definitely.
not too big for his britches.
Right. Give him a good example. I quite chuckle there here a while back because he actually got a taste of the George Washington Bridge.
Like literally, like bashed into it, or just had to run it during rush hour.
Travel down through during rush hour off that beast.
I can't even imagine. I've driven through Atlanta at 8 a.m. in the morning. That was the closest to NASCAR that I've ever come. I mean, that's the only time my ex-wife ever told me, just punch it, go as fast as you want to, and I don't care if you get a ticket. I think we were doing, well, I'm not going to say what the speed was, but I didn't realize a little 2013 Honda Insight could go triple digits, but it may have been. Bouncing off the rev limiter. That thing was screaming. That poor hybrid was just getting a flogging like you can't imagine. It's like, bro.
Most of the time, though, that thing is a parking lot, and at just about any time during the day. Very, very early in the morning is the best time to go across that piece of crap.
Well, hey, the lady at the hotel going through Atlanta, I asked her the night before. I said, "What's a good time to beat the morning rush going through Atlanta?" She goes, "You're not from here, are you?" I said, "Oh, absolutely not." And she goes, "Well, 4:30 is a good time to go. The worst time is between 6 and 9. I'm like, oh my God. So of course we hit it at 6:30 and it literally took, I don't even know, 2 hours to cross the entire city. And I mean, it was just, I've never driven like that before. That's bumper to bumper, 5 lanes wide. Just, I couldn't do that daily. I saw more cars like just on their top up in the woods. There's just cars everywhere. It's like, this is literally NASCAR. This is insane. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. It would have been like falling down with me.
We don't call that the Watermelon 500 for nothing.
Of course, halfway across town, the wife says to me, the thing that no man ever wants to hear when you're on a road trip, "Honey, I need to pee." I'm like, oh, Jesus. It's like, where do you go? You're in the middle of, anyway. So that's not
open the door, hang our ass out.
Yeah, no, we found an Advanced Auto Parts that was nice enough to let us use it. They saw our license plate, felt sorry for us, and said, "You can use our restroom, that's fine." So they normally don't do that to the public, but I'm like, I'm not from around here. So of course, me and the dude working there start talking cars and stuff, and he was cool. He had a vintage BMW sitting out front, so we were chatting old Beamers, and it was pretty cool. So people of Georgia, very friendly, and like I said, they'd see the Nebraska plate, they'd get away from us, like they'd weave, they'd let us over, like, oh, just get these people out of our state as soon as you can. We just don't want them here. They'd come up on me, oh, Nebraska, we're just gonna pass him. We're the slowest drivers in the world, so Squib can attest to that. So
Well, the last 2.5 days, I've run almost 1,500 miles. If that gives you any idea.
Jeez, holy cow, man! Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
here I complain about doing little 300-mile road trips out to Lexington and back. So, yeah.
Yep. Ran all
All
the
right,
way
so-
from Maine down to Georgia, run around in Georgia down here, and now I've got another load going back to Maine, and I've got to be up there by Monday night.
That's a Charlie Daniels band song, isn't it? Like the single shot went down to Georgia. Isn't that it's a country? That's a country song, isn't it? Something like that. Or maybe it's Convoy. I don't know. Whatever that song is they wrote about you. I can't remember what it was.
Devil went down to Georgia.
Convoy. So anyway,
Convoy.
single shot. You got a killer channel. You got a great channel. Everybody check it out. Do you have some content coming up on the channel? What's coming up on your channel so people can check it out? So single space shot exclamation point is where your channel is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them, a lot of ideas, but I only had 18 hours home when I was home last time, so that's definitely.
Oh, come on! I can put out 6
be...
videos in 18 hours. You can do that.
Oh yeah. I can do it, but the logbook says I can't.
Okay. It's all right, man.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
I understand the law has to happen. So yeah. So anyway, guys, make sure you check out Single Shot's channel. He's been with us in many episodes, and he's got some great videos. Do check it out. So a lot of knowledge over there. A lot of knowledge. So all right. Okay. Off to his right. We got Squibload. Squibload, is that caffeine kicking in? Or are you waking up now?
Yeah, I'm on my second cup. They changed the packaging on the store brand Michigan Cherry coffee, but they didn't change the coffee, so it's doing its job.
That's good. They always have the new package, same coffee sticker they got to put on there, you know?
No, it's kind of like, what is this? And then I'm realizing, oh, that's all they did, because it disappeared for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, what, all these other coffees are here. What's and they must have been retooling, I guess, another excuse for a shortage.
Of course. New, brighter packaging. They're just using like white popcorn bags to put it in.
Yeah, same bag, same price, same coffee.
Very coffee stamped on the front with a rubber stamper. They staple it shut and throw it on the shelf.
And we supplement the good coffee for the store brand that's good enough. I've been spoiled on good coffees, but also when you're trying to set aside money for computer upgrades or pay for a road trip or doing something else like that, a little here, a little there, it comes in handy later on down the road. So store brand it is today, but it does taste better because I'm drinking it in a privileged Yeti cup. So
see, there you go. And like I said, the only reason why I use those, it's the only thing Yeti I can actually afford, either the koozies or the coffee cups, and that's it. Everything else is like, that's too rich for my needs. So I'm more of a styrofoam cooler, don't care if I lose in the river kind of guy,
I mean, I would have never paid $40 for no light. You took care of that. I would have never paid whatever these things cost. You took care of that. So, but you got me into the, drinking better coffee, you and Santee from Arizona Ghost Riders. So I kind of don't really appreciate my friends at first, but then in the long run, I realized that you guys are just there to help me.
I love his channel. That's a good one to watch. That's funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, he got me into Arbuckle's coffee. I was getting into trying out more coffees because of Travis, and then Santee got me into Arbuckle's, which is my favorite coffee. So it was kind of like Travis was the catalyst and Santee was I don't know,
for the fire,
and all that. So I mean, but that doesn't mean I don't like other coffees or I don't try out other coffees, obviously. But at first it's kind of like, $20 a bag. There's a reason some of this stuff is $20 a bag. I get it. So, but if you drink it in a more expensive mug, it maybe psychologically gives you the idea that its store brand tastes better.
Oh, absolutely. No, man, that's good. Hey, make sure you check out the Squibload channel. Lots of great videos, lots of great reviews. You've got the Cocktails with Squib series that you can watch if you want to learn how to make great classic mixed drinks. You've got coffee reviews. You've got a little bit of everything over there. And also check out the Squibload channel and lots of good stuff. So there we go. Squib's been with us for many episodes, and hopefully he'll continue for many more. So appreciate having you here this morning, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Might have to check out a little bit early, but I'll hang with as long as I can.
Sounds good. Good. Because we'll start off with a PCC that you have. So we're going to start off with that here. Once we get through all the formality and the introductions and saying hi to everybody, we're going to just go right to the meat and potatoes of the conversation, which is the guns. So, all right, Foos is with us. Foos, what are you doing today? Are you heading off to your next competition?
No,
is that what's going on?
Major competition for me is done until next year, probably like June, July, August sometime.
Okay.
I got really burnt out with the shooting this year because I started training beginning of November last year, and I ended in the middle of October this year. So
Good
I have not,
man, that's like the hockey season; it never ends. Yeah,
so I have not touched a gun since Nationals ended in the middle of October.
It's okay to have a little downtime, man. It's okay to have a little downtime. So
yeah, like there's a local match today, and I'm like, no, not even gonna have zero desire. But PCCs. Yeah, let's talk about them.
I think so. Do you have any?
I had one for about a month and a half.
Okay.
And I bought it for USPSA to train with a little bit, see how it was right whenever that division was starting out. This was 3-4 years ago. And I'm like, this is dumb. Just for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the concept's not dumb, but
what is the actual advantage over a handgun? I mean, there are some things you can't argue. We'll get to that. But there are, and the thing is, they can be very expensive. And nobody needs a reason to buy a gun. You go buy whatever you want, but does it offer an advantage that really justifies the cost? Or would you be maybe a little bit better off possibly with some training or some more range time, some more, in the saddle time, so to speak, versus spending the money on another gun where you might be more efficient with what you already have,
No, so the advantage to a PCC over a pistol is you could actually fire faster. You could get your transition times are faster because you do have 3 points of contact on the firearm. But the downsides, so that's upsides over a pistol. Downsides is not as concealable or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you go to a PCC versus carbine, you could get the recoil impulse almost. Actually, the recoil impulse on PCC, if you get the PCC worked just right, will be quite a bit less than the AR or whatever carbine you have.
Depends if it's blowback. Like my high point actually thuds a little bit more than you would think it would compared to other my AKV doesn't do anything, but my high points it's boom, boom, you actually
depending if you do if you have an MBX short stroke or the gas they have nitrogen buffer systems now where it really slows everything down. That takes up 90% of your recoil. I mean, you could have an AR, a 9mm AR recoil like a 22 with today's technology, but then you're looking at 3,000.
Or maybe you're better off just taking that 300 blackout and just maybe getting a shorter upper and a can for the same price of some of these PCCs, which some of these can run $1,100-$1,200.
If not more,
and get some good subsonic ammo and run a platform you're already familiar with optics you already have.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of arguments for it.
And then there are some companies going and getting back into the roller delayed arena because bolt mass. You could greatly reduce bolt mass if you have a locking, and that's where your recoil comes from. It doesn't come from the projectile going downrange because the rifle's so heavy. People are getting, companies are getting back
velocity of that bolt carrier group coming back under recoil and stopping and returning
and hitting the back. Yep. That's why MBX has the short stroke bolt or gas the system, so it has more of a constant recoil to where the bolt never comes in contact with the back of the system. And then same with this roller delayed blowback, you take all that out of the system, you could really reduce your recoil, but you're looking at, multi-$1,000s for this stuff. PCC over a carbine, not really. The only thing is compatibility with your magazines or ammo to what you're carrying, but I would rather have a carbine.
Okay, nothing wrong with that, man. And like I said, we're gonna look at certain PCC models, but then there's and you can also easily convert if you run an AR-15 platform with magazine adapters and a different upper. You can be up and running without having to buy a complete gun. You can just get your upper, and which I mean, some of those can cost as much as a whole other gun, depending on what you decide to go with. So, but anyway, we'll get started on that a little bit. Let's let Defense Dad introduce himself. He's been waiting patiently here. So, Defense Dad, are you putting a new video out here pretty soon? Did I see that this morning, right? Or is that just a Patreon exclusive? What do we got?
No, I released it last night.
Okay, because I'm trying to play catch up from all the videos that went up last night. Yeah,
I was on a little bit of a hiatus for a while, but I released it. It's get some coffee and some snacks if you want to watch it. It's 24 minutes long.
Dude, you're going nothing fancy, full feature length presentation. But here's the thing: if you're going to drop that kind of money on something, it's good to know all the features. It's good to know the pros and the cons. You want to see how many hours of video I watched before I bought my latest car. I mean, I think I watched every freaking YouTube video on that year and that model of vehicle before I decided to buy it, because I want to know the pros and the cons. I want to hear what people like about it, what they don't like about it. I want to learn a little bit about reliability. So, that's why I tend to make long, like, flashlight videos. You're going to drop $100 on a flashlight. I want to show you everything, dropping it, soaking it, battery rundown tests, light actually outside. I want to show you what it's like when you actually use. I can't ever speak to long-term reliability because I've got to get these videos out, and I don't sit on a product for like 6 months. I mean, I do make videos down the road to show you what happened to it, but still, you try to give people what they want. So
I wanted to do a little bit of a different take on it than all the other videos on it, especially where it's sent to me by the factory rep, and just get a little bit different take on it so people can see some pluses and minuses that a lot of people won't say negative things about it because they're getting it for free. I'm like, well, thanks for free, but I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like.
I hear you, man. The YouTube section's already fired up this morning. Comment section. We've got, let's just talk about who's here real quick, and then we'll give a little shout out to some of our sponsors. So JH586 is out there, Mountain View's out there, Tony's out there, Luke B's out there, Jason Stewart, G23, Luke B, Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy, Kevin Jung is watching today. Gunpowder Beauty, Ozzy Orsborn's with us, Tommy Gunn. Yeah, we got a big crowd out there today. Razor JB's in the house. Watt 75, Defense Dad's over there and over here. Gunmetal Guy USA. There you go. What are you saying there for us elderly? You can put panel YouTube channel like in chat at Travis P11. What else we got there? Mike's out there. M. Gabriel's watching. William Trader's in the house. Irish Wrist Watchers out there today. Hey, actually pronounced it without stumbling on it. Tacos and French Fries is watching today. Who was the first person here? I think it was M. Gabriel joined in first. Kingpin's out there also. And a little shout out to SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. SS Pawn has been a longtime sponsor of the channel. A lot of the firearms that you see on the channel are from the owner of SS Pawn's private armory. His name is Stan, great guy. SS Pawn, Stan did want me to let you know that he is going to be retiring at the end of December. So if you want to pick up any firearms from SS Pawn, you need to hurry up and do so. And you can go ahead and just give him a call, and SS Pawn will take care of your firearms needs. And also, rnldisplays.com, not a sponsor, but they did send me a demo version of the sweet little piece of furniture that you see complementing my new rifle behind me. So this is the rnldisplays.com AR-15 display stand. You also get a wall mount system for it too, so you can mount it on your wall if you want to using the magazine adapter. And they also make them for Glock mags. So yes, they do take Glock mags. So you can display your pistol in a couple different styles and ways. So going over to rnldisplays.com, and I got the address right there on the banner. Check them out. They can use your support. It's an American-owned, veteran-based company, and you guys are going to be all good. Ooh, okay. So PCCs, man. So before we get into this delicious world of semi-automatic polymer and plastic, I think we need to talk about some of the originals, some of the classics. Are there any advantages, guys, to going lever gun for a pistol caliber carbine versus going semi-automatic polymer wonder guns that we're about to show you, like the X-Star, the High Point, the Ruger, and so on?
Yes.
Go right ahead. Just throw it out there. I'm going to show you guys what I think would just be a wicked sweet, aside from the fact you might have better 50-state compatibility with buying a lever gun because of the style of weapon that it is versus, some of these semi-autos. Go ahead, guys, have at it, because I don't have a lever gun that's in a pistol caliber cartridge. We're talking, here's the one thing I want to clarify real quick. When we're talking pistol caliber carbine, we're talking ammo that could be fired through the majority of pistols, but then there's AR pistols which shoot 5.56. So we're talking 45 Colt, 44 mag, 357. I mean, they make these in every caliber anymore, but we're talking 9mm, things like that. That's what we're going to focus on, because you might say, well, I've got a 300 blackout pistol. Okay, cool. But we're talking more handgun specific cartridges, or just handgun compatible cartridges. so to speak, because a lot of these ammos will go both ways. So go ahead, guys. What do you think?
I was just going to say, yes, there's an advantage because short of shooting something full auto, there is nothing more fun than plinking away with a lever action 357.
Okay. Squib, what do you think? I know you got a couple floating around there. What's your take on this?
Well, I mean, you brought it up. The 50-state compatibility, it pretty much fits into the rules as far as hunting or owning or any of that other stuff. Here's the thing. Your lever guns are going to give you your harder hitting cartridges. They're gonna give you your 357 Magnums, your 44 Magnums, that sort of thing. And if you want to go with a matching sidearm, you can have a wheel gun chambered in the same thing, and that'll
complement
give you both. And they're strong enough that they'll run anything. So it doesn't matter how hot of a load, at least in my experience, that you run through them. And the thing is, your bigger cartridges like that out of a carbine or a rifle. In my case, I've got a rifle length. It's going to have the range for the kind of hunting that some of us are used to. Like in Michigan, 150 yards would be the longest shot that I would probably take where I go hunting. I'm not saying there aren't open fields where you could do a 400-yard shot, but they're not a regular thing here. Whereas when I was hiking around Nebraska, I seen deer. Yeah, I could see exactly why you guys have got the long range rifles and the optics and all that. I'm like, wow, it's just some of the distances we just don't have that here. So, and that's why they have some of these straight wall cartridge laws, as far as that they their logic is that these straight wall cartridges aren't going to have the range that your bottleneck cartridge is. So if you're out there hunting with a lever action 44, even though it's a pretty powerful round, it's not going to reach out 600 yards, even though I've seen people do trick shots with 44 Magnum, handguns at 600 yards. I mean, for the average hunter shooter, you're not going to, the likelihood of it making it far enough that it's going to hit a structure off in the distance is less, right? Not impossible, but less. So it's kind of a safety thing. It's kind of an ethical hunting round kind of thing. It's a compatibility thing, and just overall, they're cool. They really are.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is just, I don't know about you guys, but I just think that looks awesome. Now, I've got a 30-30 octagonal barrel. I don't know if it's a 20-inch barrel. I think so. It's a full-size Henry 30-30, not a side gate. I got one of the last of the legacy models, but didn't that just look awesome? I mean, that would just be sweet to have around. And I don't know if you can buy. No, this says an MSRP of $1146. I don't know if they make a more entry-level blued model that's cheaper. Do you guys know? Because Henry makes so many different rifles. I don't know their whole catalog.
They make an entry-level one that doesn't have the octagonal barrel, doesn't have the color case hardened.
Okay.
I like that lower one with the big lever on it.
Dude, it just looks cool. I just think it'd be so much more. And you guys had mentioned before, you got 44 mag, you can run 44 special, and you can reload it easily. So, if you want a little bit less kick and you want maybe a little bit lower cost, maybe you go 44 special. And you've got 45 Colt. It's an expensive round. I mean, the boxes I see in the store, it's almost $40 for a box of 50 for 45 Colt. So you're going to spend a little bit if you go that route. Otherwise, you can also go 357 mag. Again, another sweet laser beam of a round. But it can also run 38 special. So, and that's not necessarily cheap, but again, a lot of these are easy to reload if you get into that. 10 rounds, you can run 10. I don't know if you can do 10 plus 1 technically, I suppose. 10 in the magazine tube and 1 in the chamber with your hammer back. But yeah, I just think that would just be awesome. So, there are some advantages to that. Maybe hopefully 50-state compatibility. I don't know. I would guess so. The lever guns, you don't ever seem to hear about a lever gun ban. And a lot of guys buy them just to have them around in case there'd ever be some sort of a semi-automatic ban. Hunting capability for straight wall cartridges if you go with that route. Yeah.
And then that's what a lot of people don't think about, like using one for home defense, for example. People don't think about those, but you're going to be more compatible with most state laws. Quite honestly, they don't look as scary as the big black guns.
Yeah. So, talking about home defense, Squib, you tell me you run a 44 mag plus P out of a 20-inch barrel. What kind of energy and velocity do you think we're pushing here?
I'd have to
as a reloader. Do you ever chrono?
I've got a video where I chronoed those plus P plus specials, those Elmer Keith specials, and I can't remember. I want to say they were pushing 1,800 feet per second or something like that. But I can't even remember if in the video I got I got some of the numbers crossed, but you can run really hot loads in these guns. They're strong enough that they can take it. They can take the abuse of dragging them out there and hunting with them and dragging them to the range. And I mean, obviously you don't want to scratch yours up like I did, but you know,
I would get a more basic model. If I was going to have a straight up truck gun beater that I'm going to unsling and take out and not throw around on purpose, but not worry about if it gets a nick in it, I would go with a lower cost model, you know, personally. This is just a bit still, you know. Yeah.
The thing is, though, let's say you've already got a revolver and now you want to get, you know, a rifle to match it. You've got your options there. You just talked about all the different calibers. I'm going the opposite route. I got the rifle, and I've been dragging my butt about getting the revolver, and I need to. But, yeah, I like the fact that for guys like me that, you know, we've got 100 yards to the tree line and an open cornfield to hunt in, that this will do the job. I mean, it's accurate, it's balanced, it's comfortable, it does the job. The wife once, well, I don't know, she kind of claimed my my big boy, you know, kind of like how they'll go into the closet and take your shirt and you'll never get it back. And I want to get her the Model X because it's a pound lighter and it's a little bit shorter.
Okay.
And that was her only complaint, was that if, you know, after being on the range all day, that the rifle starts to get heavy.
Gun.
It starts to get heavy, right? So a little bit lighter, but yeah, she likes 44 Magnum and 44 Special out of that. You know, the kick is really manageable and things like that. So, I mean, overall, I think it's a really good gun, but the price puts people off. It really does. They're not cheap. They're not. And then there's a reputation, right? When they first started out, they were making the 22s and the quality control was terrible. And some people think that that's still the case, and it isn't. There's a reason these are $1,000 guns. But if you know that's out of your price point, there are other options. But I tell you what, once you get a Henry, you won't be disappointed.
So, when I got a Henry 357, just because I had a Ruger LCR, so I wanted ammo compatibility, and I could reload fairly cheap for 357 and 38 Special. Well, plus side is my girlfriend. She started shooting, and she wanted to shoot rifles. She wasn't quite sure about AR or AK, so I brought this out with the 38 Specials, and it's her favorite gun. She'll shoot 200 rounds of this stuff at her range, and I'm like, okay, just keep feeding her ammo.
And you know that's an interesting point though. She was kind of, you know, put off by the AR or AK thing, and I consider the AR. I tell people this all the time. This is a good beginner platform. This is, if you've never shot a gun, I would absolutely recommend starting off on an AR in 5.56. Seriously, or even 300 Blackout. It's a good, you know, overall it covers a lot of bases, and for a beginner. But some people look at it and it looks like it kicks harder than it does, or it looks heavier than it is, or it looks scary, whereas the lever action looks more like grandpa's old hunting rifle, so it looks more benign. But that Henry is a little bit heavier. It kicks a little bit harder, but it's still manageable. It's absolutely manageable.
The 357s, my Henry 357, like Travis, mine is not a side. Does not have a side gate.
Not side gate, yeah. Which they came out with that a month after. They announced it a month after I bought mine. I was like, thanks, guys. I had no idea they were even making it. Of course, if I paid more attention, I probably would have known. But
right. So I went at my 357 lever gun loaded with 38s is lighter than my AR empty.
Well, and I'll say this, and it's just more of a personal thing, but even though I owned ARs and everything, I really wasn't much of a rifle guy until the first time I shot a lever action. They're just so damn fun. And I know I keep saying that, but if it's fun,
they are fun.
If it's fun, you're going to go shoot it. You're going to go want to more train with it. Same thing with a handgun. You know what I mean?
So, do you think maybe if somebody looked at it and they go, "This is just some clunky old timey," you know, maybe you play an episode of The Rifleman before you take them out to the range or something? Or
I don't know. A lot of people are going to look at you like, "What do you mean? I got to shoot it and then I got to swing this lever and then I come." That seems cumbersome. And then you do it. It's like, boom, boom. I'm like, holy crap, this is fun and it's accurate.
All right, so Travis, on the Rossi, this is what I want to know: is it already drilled and tapped for an optic? because all the Henrys come drilled and tapped for an optic, and
Buckhorn
if you go back
sights.
later to do that, that's a cost.
These aren't. These are top eject.
Oh, okay, all right.
Wait,
Oh,
Ro-
wow.
Well, no,
Ross
wait a
is there-
minute. You can drill and trap it for an offset. You could have an
There
offset.
may be some side adapter that somebody makes that might utilize these screws.
What you can do with these is you have to remove the rear sight to do it. I personally want one of these just because I think they look cool, and they're a lot more inexpensive normally than.
Yeah, they're showing 800 MSRP. You might be able to
So-
pick one up for like 750 these days. Yeah.
The reason I went with Henry over one of these is I did not want to have a safety on it. I wanted to have one that looks as traditional as possible, so I didn't want a safety. So Henrys don't have safeties on it, and these have to because they're imported.
But they do have a transfer bar. I have set my hammer down on a live round and never
Russ,
had an
yeah.
issue with it.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, if you're concerned, I mean, you shouldn't be dragging this thing up into a tree stand. You've heard the stories of somebody having a loaded chambered cocked rifle and then pulling it up by the barrel facing them
Like
with
putting
the
some
rope
paracord
and
on it
stuff.
and bring it up by
Yeah,
the
stuff
barrel.
like that. Yeah.
No, you misheard what I said. I got the Henry because there was no safety on it. I wanted the look of without having a safety on the thing.
No, I heard you
why
say
I-
that.
manual
But what I
safety,
was
manual
saying was,
safety,
if you're saying I want to have it chambered and ready to go, but I'd like something that works like a safety. It has a transfer bar in it, and you can set the hammer down on a live round, and it will be safe. And you go, oh man, that just takes too long. I have had one situation where I had a deer in my sights, and I pulled the trigger, and nothing happened. I realized I had the hammer down. It was nothing to cock it. And I don't know, I've heard this stuff from people, and I haven't experienced it yet myself. When a deer hears a sound, it runs away. I got to
They'll
say
stop
that
and
any
look.
noise I make, they stop right in
They
front
stop
of me.
and look.
So
yeah,
they
that's
stop
why
and
you
look.
kinda-
So
you
it's like,
kinda
go
yelp and
ahead,
you kind of holler, and they stop, and then you take
Well,
a shot.
And as far as the
You can,
Rossies,
you can. Yeah.
As far as the Rossi goes, I have nothing against Henrys. I love Henrys. Aesthetically, just purely aesthetics. Something about the way Rossi does it, I prefer.
They look more old school, a little more rough, like a little more just kind of hand built. I don't know. They look older. They just look like an older, like the rounded metal and stuff like that. They're not quite so sharp looking, but they do make some modern polymer models. Like they have their own X series and stuff like that too. So yeah, there are a few people kind of giving a shout out for the Rossi R92. And again, we're not trying to make this a FUD talk. It's just for a lot of people, if they want a PCC, it has to be a lever gun because they can't run semi-auto in the state they live in. So I mean, there's just that again, and a lot of people forget that you have this as an option, and there's a lot of, and they look cool, they're fun to shoot, they're so heavy, the recoil is so low. And again, I'm not opposed to any of these. I own a few of the models that we're about to talk about anyway, but it's just cool. It's cool to have these options. And I will say this, the Henry selection's been very thin at my local sporting goods store for about the last 6 months, but I know that they're expanding their operations and they're adding like a couple hundred employees at the Henry plant. So maybe we'll start to see more models showing up as time goes on. But I will say this, I got my 3030 with the octagonal barrel and the color case hardened finish. I got it for like $769 or $775 delivered. I bought it pre-pandemic, or it was just like when the first COVID checks came out, that's what I used to pick up my first one. And the prices hadn't gone up and the demand wasn't quite there. But now $1,000 will get you is what it's going to cost to get into one of these Henrys. I mean, not counting the 22 models, obviously, but yeah.
And it's also good to talk about these because most people, especially if they're newer to the gun world, they hear PCC and all they're thinking is an AR platform. There's other choices out there that doesn't have to necessarily be an AR.
Yeah.
But you also have to think about it with the lever gun. Like I do not have that for a home defense. I would not consider that a home defense because I do have better options. If it was that's all I had, I would run it for home defense because that's all I have. It's not.
I use a different PCC for home defense. I agree with you there.
But hunting with it, you put 158 grain 357 in that thing, you would feel the difference in your shoulder. You will feel the difference downrange. Very capable, hunting gun.
Let's get the opinion of somebody who's half our age. AWAG is joining us. AWAG, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Howdy, guys. How's it going? Oops, I just
So
bumped my
AWAG, what's kind of your take on the lever gun as a PCC? Somebody who's a young person, do you think there's a cool factor to lever guns, or is it just something that the old buds carry? What's your take on it, man? What do you think?
I really do like the appeal of the lever guns. There's just something about them. It's almost like a bolt action. Is when I tell somebody who's never been into like firearms or anything, they just see guns as like this big scary object. And I explain to them that essentially they're just a machine, and you really shouldn't look at it any different than, say, a car or a milling machine. In the case of some of my coworkers, because certainly a milling machine of large size could definitely do some damage if you don't respect it, but a lot of other people. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. I just woke up. My bad. But there's something about a lever action that just has like this appeal to it. It's almost like an art form almost. I don't really see it as something. I wouldn't say useful, but it's something that is from a bygone era that doesn't necessarily have a place in my life other than an art piece. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about lever guns.
No, I mean,
because some of them
anything
are really
old
awesome.
that we still find functional, a lot of kids don't. They're like, why would you do that when you can just go with this? This is all I've ever known. I mean, a lot of you don't grow up with them. You might see them in the movies and stuff, or you didn't have that, maybe you didn't have those older family members that had one that got passed down to you. You just never had the experience with them. I mean, I've been shooting for 20 years and I didn't get a lever gun until 3 years ago. So I mean, I don't know what it is. They just think that'd be cool. I'd like to pick one of those up just to, you go shoot a friend's, and still, and then you realize how fun they are. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna start off.
Yeah, I've got an interesting combination.
Yeah.
I've got an interesting combination for the lever gun and pistol. A couple of years ago, I picked up a Winchester Model 94 XL. I think it's XLR, XLD, one of them. That's chambered in 730 waters. I also have a 12-inch pistol barrel from my Contender in 730 waters. So it can be combined together. Of course, that pistol's only single shot. I've got a lever gun that holds 5, I believe it is. And I'm going to be doing some work with that sometime right in the near future. And combinations with a 22 long rifle and my Henry that Dad gave me in 22. It's just a blue receiver version, but I'll tell you, that little bugger is some kind of accurate. I'm very impressed with the Henry. Yeah. And one of these days, I'm going to have me one of the 4570s. That's the one I'd really like to get.
I would love a 4570 just to reload on the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants a 4570. Even if you don't think you do, you want one. So
I've got two of them. Yeah, I've got two of them.
Cool. I think we're going to see a little bit of a lever gun resurgence. I'm just kind of predicting this as soon as Ruger reintroduces the Marlin line, which they're going to do, I think, in December. I think people are going to go buy them because the 336 prices have gone up so much now. If you go get a JB original, they're pushing $700-800 on Gun Broker. I think guys are going to go. Your Ruger fans are going to buy them because it's like, oh, it's a new lever gun from Ruger, so Ruger people are going to buy them. They might have to work some kinks out. I would trust the work that Ruger is going to be doing with the Marlin versus, say, when Marlin got moved over to the Freedom Group Remington. They had problems for a couple of years on those until they got the kinks worked out. So I'd be more likely to buy. Yeah.
I really disagree. I don't think there's going to be a resurgence in lever guns. I think it's kind of like revolvers where there's always going to be little tweaks, little new models, stuff like that. There's always going to be a following, but it's going to be a niche market.
No.
Well, and right now, I guess you're right, though, Foos, because there's so many models that these companies offers, and they've been out for years now. I think people that want them just buy them anyway. I think they're going to be in demand just because people want to get that new 336 that's out or are interested in it. So, and they're going to be making those, in 4570 and 3030. They're only going to do 2 or 3 models from the Marlin line. I don't even know if they're going to call it Marlin. I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, I am very interested in that rifle, though. When they come out, I really want to check one of those out.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I was going to say is not to turn this into a politics talk, but just in case they ever do get their crap passed with magazine restrictions, you might see more of a resurgence on more traditional type rifles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or in places where you have magazine restrictions, you don't even have to worry about the lever gun. I mean, that's,
Well,
because most of these are 10,
magazine
10
restrictions
or 10 plus 1. But
some magazine restriction states also have laws. If it's a tubular magazine, still can't hold more than 10. Whereas, in a 357, you can hold 11 in the 18-inch barrel or 16-inch barrel, which one I can't remember. But you can hold 10 in it. But it's a 357. 357, you can hold like 8. So
Yeah.
So it is you're kind of future proofing your gun purchase when you get one of those, especially if you move to another state or something, and it still gives you a decent amount of firepower in a good package that.
Yeah.
Again, price wise, you can get into one for $750. I suppose you could probably pick one up. I don't know what the low end is for the Rossies. I think probably $750 is about what you're going to be looking at now for a PCC lever gun, basically. Yeah.
Whenever I got my Henry, it was in the real low 6s.
Yeah, they've gone up. They've gone back up to MSRP everywhere.
Yeah.
The Rossies used to be in the 400 to 500 range.
Yes.
But I don't know about you guys, but I know I can speak for myself. There are certain guns I have in my collection, A, because I like them, B, because in the back of my mind, I have these just in case the Lululand weirdos in Washington get their way.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, let's make a reference to the poll here before we go into some of these other models. So the question was, which pistol caliber carbine would you buy or do you own? Now, I only had room for 4 slots, so I just picked the first 4 tabs that I'm going to go through with you guys. Ruger was 48% of the PCC that you would either buy or do you currently own. So obviously, the Ruger pistol caliber carbine, very popular. High Point was number 2 at 24%. We'll talk about that in a little bit. CMMG was 3rd, and X-Star was 7%. So people do know about those X-Stars, which we're going to talk about. And I did add Kel-Tec to the list here at the last second. I forgot to put Kel-Tec up just because of the Sub 2000. Yeah. So we'll talk about that also.
Something with those CMMGs, that their delayed blowback, they're still having issues with those. Where they're
the Banshee series, I guess I don't know much about them because I haven't
Yeah.
fired one. I mean, I've seen them on the shelves and stuff, and they're cool, but because they got them in 5.7 and they've got other calibers.
I've seen a couple of them at USPSA matches, and I have not seen one make it through the day.
Okay.
Just because.
And I haven't watched any long-term tests on them to see if they have issues, from like Honest Outlaw Reviews or one of those people that puts 1,000 rounds through the gun,
They just don't. They don't last.
So we're going to start on the low end of the price point food chain, but not necessarily the low end of guns. Okay, I have one of these. I've got 20 years ago, I had a Gen 1 High Point. I don't know if they were called the 995 back then also. Old style stock, ran great. I sold it when I got out of college and bought a different rifle. Just recently, within about the last year, I picked up a nice used Gen 1. Actually traded my Jimenez J22 and 2 boxes of CCI mini mags almost straight up for a High Point 995 Gen 1. So it's got the old style stock, but on the low end of the price point, for around $280 now, you can get the High Point carbines. They come in 380, 9mm, 40, 45, and 10mm. For a while there, pre-pandemic, I was seeing the 10mm model for sale on Gunbroker for under $300, and I'm kicking myself for not buying one. There was a couple places that were selling them for like $325. A couple places were selling them with the mag adapter and the extra 2 mags that come with it.
Wow.
Now, I've watched a couple of videos, and it seems like the people that test these, like I watched Grantham's video on this. Now, he had issues with this, which really surprised me because it definitely shows you High Point doesn't cherry pick when they send guns off to gun testers, because his had some serious problems. He had dead trigger issues, I think. But he was having major magazine issues, and he was only using those Red Ball 20-round mags that you see here in the bottom right corner. So my High Point, what's funny is I bought it at a gun store. Mine actually came with a 380 magazine, and it runs fine. So I bought a couple 9mm mags for it, so I'd have the proper magazines to go with it. The mags can be the only issue with the High Point carbine that I've heard of. These are not ambi, unfortunately, and I know lefties have trouble because when you grip it, if you're a lefty, your knuckle or your hand can eject the magazine. I remember watching that on Honest Outlaw Reviews video of this.
Yeah,
really wish they make a left-handed model for this, but they don't. Yeah.
Right where your trigger finger rides, that part of your palm ejects the magazine.
Yep. And it's a big button, so if you're a lefty, it's not going to be the gun for you. But one good thing about the High Points, they are California compliant, because that's what they started off with. This was a gun ban era invention, I think, in the late 90s. They wanted to make something that could be sold in California or was 50 state compliant at the time. They do make it with a fin grip on it. So if you're in California, you can get one of these. Probably not the 20 round mags, but they're just a 10+1. They're fun. They're fun to shoot. Mine is accurate as all heck. I mean, I can shoot this better than I can shoot some handguns, to be honest with you. So, and they've got a lifetime warranty on them, regardless of the owner. They still have parts for the Gen 1s. You can call them up and they'll send you the parts. I did break my High Point 45 handgun, taking it apart and cleaning it. I actually broke a gun cleaning a gun, believe it or not. It was ridiculous. I was putting it back together and bent this little rod that was in the grip. I have no idea how. Sent it into them. They sent it back with an extra mag for free and a full color instruction guide on how to take it apart and put it back together. So High Point does, I just had to pay the shipping of $27 to them. They shipped it back for free and it was done in about 2 weeks. So they're good. I mean, I don't know now with everything going on and what their turnaround is for repairs, but consider one of these, because this is on the low end of the pistol caliber carbine. Do any of you other guys have a High Point carbine at all or ever had one before? Anybody on the panel?
Never had one, but I've shot them.
Okay.
And I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've shot that Jimenez you had. You got the better end of that trade.
That trigger was terrible, but it was a fun little pistol. I could run about 150 rounds through it before it would start to cake up because of carbon and start to malfunction. Mine always ran. I never had problems with it. And you guys saw what I did to it. We turned it into a zombie gun build. And then when I pulled the trigger, everything flew off of it. The red dot came off and the knife blade came off. So I just cleaned it up a little bit and took it to the gun store and said, here you go. And the guy was actually saying, the ammo's worth more than the gun right now, because I had 2 packages of CCI mini mags, which at the time were selling for like $50 a box because you couldn't get mini mags anywhere. And I said, well, that's going to be included with the gun. I said, I want to trade you straight up and I don't want to pay sales tax on the trade. He's like, we can do that. So I got me an old Gen 1 that has an old red dot on it. And that sucker is just accurate. It's accurate as all get out. So yeah, this is something to consider. Yeah.
That High Point carbine in 45 has interested me in the past as well.
Yeah, we can check out some of the other models that they have. So they've got the 10 millimeter, they got the 45 ACP, and think about it. You run plus P ammo out of what, a 16-inch barrel. You run 10 millimeter plus P or 45, hot loads of 45 through this thing, 45 ACP. You're going to have a fairly decent, capable firearm, and these are all the different options you can get them with. You can get the Pro bundle that has the two mag carrier on the rear with 2 extra magazines. On some of these, not all of them, but on some of them, the magazines are compatible with the pistol. Like the magazine will literally go right into the pistol. Might only be the 9 millimeter, or maybe it's not the 9 millimeter. I don't know off the top of my head. The mag on this looks identical to the mag that I had in my 45 High Point that I was running. And unfortunately, on some of these, as you go up the caliber food chain here, the prices do go up. Usually the 380s are the cheapest. But don't forget that you're also going to be dealing with more expensive ammo. I mean, at this point, 10 millimeter, what I'm seeing in the store is almost the same price as 380. Defense Dad, would you agree with me on that? Shields has got boxes of 10 millimeter for like $24 for 50.
Yeah.
Blazer aluminum, and then like 380 is like $27.95. So you're almost better off just getting the 10 millimeter and having a much more capable gun.
And I saw one of these carbines going new about a week ago for sub 300.
Yep, they're I'm seeing them for $279 on Gunbroker if you look around. Yeah. And Gunbroker's high compared to local gun stores.
Yeah,
just kind of testing the waters. Gunbroker tends to be high on stuff, but sometimes you get, like, I bought my SR 1911 off Gunbroker, my Ruger, and I paid way less than anybody. I paid $100 under what Shields was asking for the same gun. And then I bought guns off there that have been my Henry was sold through, like, it's like Dahlonega Gun and Pawn or something. I bought my Henry from them, and it was 100 or 200 below anybody else. So if you look around, you can sometimes get some good deals. You want to filter by price and then click on buy now. So
I see one right now. It's on $269.99 in 45.
Oh my God. So guys, if you want, I mean, seriously, if you've got some 45 or you want to just get a cheap PCC to play with and play around with, and you don't have to clean them that often. I did do a Gen 1 cleaning video. The Gen 2s are really close in terms of dismantling and cleaning them. They're not as bad as people say they are. They're really not that hard. You just got to do a lot more dismantling than you normally do for a gun to clean it. Like, you can't just pull out the bolt carrier group, wipe it off, and throw it back in. You got to take off the covers. You got to take off, it's a little bit of work, but it's not hard. Here we go in OD green. We're all suckers for OD green.
Now, are those
45.
gas operated or are they
No,
blowback?
they're blowback. They've
Straight
got
blowback.
a little bit of a stout. I'm going to say stout recoil. I mean, it kicks a little bit more than you would think it would for the size and weight of the gun. It's like, okay, I can shoot a handgun and I have almost no felt recoil, but I can shoot this thing. But like Fu said earlier, it's the mass of the bolt carrier group, and this thing's got a freaking like a frying pan weight bolt carrier group.
Yeah,
like
so that
skillet.
weight,
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is on a blowback, the weight and the spring tension is the only thing that keeps that bolt forward to keep you keeping you from having an out of battery detonation. So it's inertia. You have to keep that inertia. That the spring has to keep that bolt closed long enough for the pressures to drop. So you have spring pressure, which if you get too stiff of the spring, people aren't going to be able to operate it. So a lot of people will go with a heavy bolt to keep that bolt closed until the round is gone and pressures has dropped. And then you have that big bolt going back and forth in that system and causing recoil.
Now, I think they recently adopted an actual, because they've had a Picatinny style rail on the top. Now they've got the actual 1930s standard Picatinny rail, I believe, on the top and also on underneath, if I'm not mistaken. So you can put, because before you'd have issues getting anything that's Picatinny compatible to actually work on the rails of these things. Now they should be compatible. So if you're buying one of those ones for $269, I'm curious if they're running the older design. If you call them up, they might be able to sell you or send you the updated rail. I know you can buy them on the website. They sell a lot of hop-up parts for these on their website too. If you want to do some changes to it, yeah.
And I can't remember there's a company that makes a really cool stock for it. Makes it look like a space gun.
Can't you also? Yeah, there's a company that makes the Beretta CX4. Is that what it was? Help me out here, guys. They make the Beretta style carbine stock for it that you can get. You can still buy them like on GunBroker and stuff like that.
My problem is the stock costs more than the gun.
It does, yeah. It's like $300 for the stock. I do like this Realtree Edge. This is definitely the official camo of Nebraska. I will say that. So
that's way better than the Digi camo they had.
Oh yeah. Oh, they did. Did they? Yeah, I know they did Digi camo on their pistols, and they do Digi camo on the carbines also at one point.
Yeah, and they could hardly give them away.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that FDE version you just showed was pretty good.
That was pretty sweet. Yeah, here's your Digicam. Look at that. Ooh, man. I know on the pistol that's a problem because the sights are covered in that also, so you can't hardly make your sights out. Like it blends in with your background. So if you get the Digicam high point pistols, it's really an issue when you're trying to see. Here you go, Defense Dad. Buddy girl.
Yeah, there you go.
Buddy girl. So get that for your significant other, and they'll be very happy. So there you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so that's a little bit with the high point. Let's move on to the next one. Let me check the comments here real quick. I've been ignoring the comments on the YouTube side. I apologize, guys. Let's see. Jason Stewart says, Mama always said wear clean underwear in case something happens. I always say don't get caught with an ugly gun. I just say travel with an extra pair because you don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. Oh, William Trader said Hightower. Yeah, Hightower Arms does the bullpup stock for the high point, the Hightower Arms bullpup. That's what. Thank you, William. Yeah. Those are freaking awesome. Those make it look sweet. What else do we have here? Why was I talking about underwear? I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Travis P11, your take on building an AR9. Okay, so here's the thing about this. If you get yourself just take a regular AR-15, get yourself a 9mm upper, and then get an adapter that will take the like either Glock mags or whatever style of mag you want it to take, or like the Colt style magazines. That's a great idea. I think you can do an AR9 build now cheaper than buying just about everything we're showing you here, except for the High Point or the X-Star. So I would almost say that doing a build is a better idea because you can always get yourself a 5.56 up, or you can slap on there, unless you get an AR9 dedicated lower, in which case, you're stuck on that platform. Well, honestly, I think the AR9 is probably going to be more reliable because you're not relying on a mag adapter to make it work, and you're not using. There's a company that sells kits that'll convert your PMags to 9. Is that right?
Yes.
There's a company that makes those also, but I'd rather just go AR9 and have something made for it that's not going to have the issues. What do you guys think? AR9?
Foxtrot Mike makes a nice, affordable AR9.
Yeah, they do.
So, honestly, you could probably build one for the same price as buying one that's already made, ready to go. I don't know if they do 80% lowers for AR9s. I'm not sure how that's going to work. You probably have to have a different jig for that if you're going to make that work. But I know they make I've got an 80% lower kit. I know they do 308 and 5.56, but I don't know. So if you want to go 80%,
well,
route,
it's the magazine. It's
you're gonna have to have a different
straight
jig.
like a 308 and 5.56. It's at an angle, and it'll make it much more difficult for someone to mill it out correctly.
And you can get an adapter that'll go into the mag of your 5.56 lower, and it'll work with Glock mags or work with whatever standard you go with. You know,
it locks in with your normal. Actually, you have to open up the top, drop it in from the top, and then everything else works.
I think Night Strike has one, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
William Trader beat me to it, but yeah, Bear Creek has a with upper 9mm upper with bolt carrier group and everything for just under 400 right now.
But you also have to think right now, those firearms, the recoil is going to be as much or more than a normal 5.56 because they are
running blowback, right?
Straight blowback.
System.
And it's going to be punished. I'm not going to say punishing, but punishing compared to other.
Could you change the spring? I wonder if they make an AR9 specific spring out there. Somebody probably makes a tuned spring for AR9s and a buffer that would reduce recoil. But then you're dropping another $150 in it, right? And then it's like,
but I mean, it's still without having to do major modifications. You're still going to have that spring. If you get the MBX gas short gas system, I mean not short buffer, but then you're looking at several $100s.
So that's an option. Now the next one that's very popular, a lot of people have never seen these before. The X-Star. I called X-Star and tried to get a demo, and they had already sent them out to bigger channels. And I might try to get a hold of them to see at some point if I can test one on the channel. I know a few of you out there watching have one. I think maybe doesn't Budget have one, if I'm not mistaken. So we got the X-Star EP9, which has some compatibility with AR parts, like I believe the buffer tube system and the pistol grip is going to be AR part compatible. You know, obviously Picatinny rails. So this is the EP9. It's kind of a mixture of polymer and steel. Don't hear a lot of complaints about them. I know there's a lot of polymer to them, but I've seen some pretty good tests on them. They do hold up. Looks like you do have an ambi charging handle up on the top, possibly ambi safety. I don't know. Let's see here.
Well, they're polymer.
You can install one. Yeah.
Is that an actual PCC though? I thought the barrel was shorter than that.
Well, I mean, it's running 9mm and it's out of a carbine platform, so it's going to be like a carbine style platform. So it's, PDW pistol is what they call it.
Okay.
But again, it's about the same length and heft as the other guns that we're talking about. And 449 kind of puts it between, the high point and then stepping up to an AR9 build or even a Kel-Tec Sub 2. Well, Kel-Tec Sub 2000s are probably about what, 450.
I wish I would have got one of these when they first came out because they were $399.
They were. I remember. Yeah, they had an introductory price. Now they talked about a 10mm, but I guess it just never happened. So who knows? But
I wouldn't want 10mm in plastic.
No, and then maybe that's the reason. Well, in a high point, I would, just because it's got steel. It's mostly steel. The receiver's all pot metal and steel and so on and aluminum. But yeah, and something like this. Now it is a 1/2 by 28 threaded muzzle device, so you could put yourself a suppressor on there if you wanted to. Real lightweight platform, supposed to be really fun to shoot. There's quite a few videos on these. You do have that rail on the front there, so you could add your angle foregrip if you want to, or possibly SBR it. And I guess I do not know if this buffer tube is just strictly a pistol buffer tube or if it's a carbine style. Probably just going to be straight off the back, but you may be able to change it out too. So it's an unusual design because you've got a style that's similar to some AR-15 platform compatible parts.
Yeah, I think if you see the Honest Outlaw review on it, he put a different stock and buffer tube on it, and I think he swapped the handguard out too.
Oh wow, okay. So I wonder if it's uses like a carbine style handguard mount on it, where it just snaps in and you've got this little maybe screw in the front that keeps it in place. So yeah, definitely check out Honest Outlaw's video on this because he does some pretty good tests, and I do like his channel. He's from Iowa, and it's hard to trust people from Iowa being a Nebraskan. I'm just kidding. But anyway, he does have a great
Iowa
channel.
Even a real state, real place?
It's just an extension of Nebraska.
It's just because people get lost and end up there.
Yeah, we go to the casinos and we never make it back. So
it's idiots out wandering around. I mean,
they got cheaper gas and the roads are nicer. So I do like Iowa for that reason. So
that's true.
And they always beat us in football, so it's a bitter pill to swallow having them right next door. Anyway, so there you go. X-Star EP9, another recommendation I think that we could safely give you. We've got friends that have them and shoot them and have not had any issues. I'm gonna guess lifetime guarantee on it just off the top of my head. So yeah, there's another option for you just in case you haven't tried it. DD, do you have to go to work today?
Not till noon.
Okay, so we're going to get into what you have because you have experience with this, and some of you on the panel may have this, and this was the more popular model. We'll get to here in a second. Let's see, make sure there's no questions out there.
So something that I don't have any experience with, but I want to try.
Yeah.
Is a Ruger PC.
Okay, that's what we're going to right now. So let's go right into. So the Ruger PC Carbine, or the Ruger PCC, as many of us call it. Again, lots of flexibility here. So does anybody here on the panel have one other than Defense Dad?
No.
No. All right. So Defense Dad, give us your take on this thing. What do you think? Because you've done some modifications to it. You've shot it. What do you think, man? What are the pros and cons of this gun?
So I like it. And this might not be a popular opinion for people who own one. It's basically a 1022 takedown that's gone through puberty now can shoot centerfire. Because it's the basic design is like the 1022.
Like the action, the recoil system, the cleaning and stuff, like somewhat similar style is what you're saying? Okay.
Right. And I have the normal version on the bottom that you're showing there. I don't have the ones that have the kind of AR style stock.
So are they all takedown models by design?
Yeah.
They are. Okay, I couldn't remember if that was something that came out later, if they originally, yeah.
And they have a pistol version called the PC Charger, I think.
Yeah.
I had no use for that one, but I liked this one. Partly, I was looking for a takedown rifle, one that I could put in the backpack if I need to. Pluses and minuses: it shoots, it's accurate. Since it is a takedown, there's a nut though that adjusts the tension when you put the two pieces together.
Okay.
You have to keep an eye on that because if that gets loose, you can lose accuracy. Because probably about every third or fourth time you take it down, the threads back off just a little bit. So you just watch that. I haven't customized mine yet, but and that was a version I don't care for that
I think it looks awesome. It looks like a PPSH submachine gun or whatever.
I saw one of those at a gun show this last weekend.
It's heavier. Cool. The gun's already heavy as it is.
Yeah.
So that
you got a rail on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that 4-inch heavier. My plans are to get the Magpul backpacker stock for it.
Okay.
Although I like that version better with the Magpul stock on it. They make another version that just has the 4-in and the just the traditional stock. The one you're showing is better looking.
What's the minimum length and or barrel length to put a vertical foregrip on something like this? You can, right?
That could be a rifle.
16.12 inch barrel.
Yeah.
It is. It is. If it's a 16-inch barrel, it is is considered a rifle, correct? Or you have to have a minimum overall length. No, there's a minimum length of pull you have to watch out for, but
the 16's fine. And that one that would qualify, I believe. I like the gun. It's a nice shooter. The trigger is getting better. The trigger's okay. I mean, it's a factory Ruger trigger when you come out. And there's aftermarket. There's a lot of aftermarket support for this gun. Different trigger packs, everything. It's nice. It's not traditional looking. If I'm being honest, it's kind of ugly. But it's a nice, fun shooter. And that barrel's there's not much rise to it. It's a heavy barrel.
It's probably cold hammer forged because they do that with a lot of the barrels. That's what it is on my Ruger Ranch. Now, have you tried it with the PMag Glock mags that I gave you?
I haven't swapped it out yet. I was going to go. Okay. Our original plan was to go out and zero in the. I need to adjust the rear sight on it, but it was cold and windy yesterday, so I stayed in.
It was horrible. Okay, here's the other thing too. You're a lefty. You can switch it over to left-hand charging.
Yep, I have
reversible mag release too, or not? Is it an ambi mag release? Well, it doesn't matter because you can use it. Yeah, it looks like the button's on the left anyway. Oh, I wonder, can you swap that around?
You can get the lever mag release just like on a 1022.
I'm gonna go through the features real quick. Okay, so that's good. If you are a lefty, again, we don't want to forget you guys. You have that option also.
And I don't switch my mag release on most of my.
Oh, it does say reversible mag release, so if you want to, and reversing charging handle, support left or right-handed use. Yep,
you can. I typically don't, but I do on the charging handle. I did switch because it was just swapping the screw out.
Sure. So that's And now, what are we talking price? $699? Is that what these are running locally? threaded
I
barrel.
think
cold
so. I
down
think I
forged,
paid.
fluted.
When I got mine, even during the pandemic, I paid less than $500 for it when I got brand new.
Okay. And
That
again, with the
just
Glock
in
mag
9mm?
compatibility, you can go get those. You can go get those P mags, the Glock mags for nothing. I mean, $17-$20. You can get,
Yeah, and
33 round stick mags if you want to.
that's where you
So-
have sidearm compatibility. So this standard comes with one Ruger mag, like for Ruger American. If you carry a Ruger sidearm, that's great. You have magazine compatibility, or it comes with the mag. Well, you can swap it to the Glock style. So if you carry a Glock, you have compatibility. Go back up a little bit. That one right there, that's the one I think is ugly with that forend with the traditional stock.
Oh, this one right here on the right side.
Yeah, I just don't like that. I just don't like that combination for some reason.
It's a little. It looks like it needs to carry through the rest of the design. Like it needs something a little more. And I know Magpul makes the stock for it. What's the advantage of the Magpul stock? Because Magpul just released a new stock for this, right?
Well,
or they have one.
Magpul's has a backpacker stock. It allows it when you take it down. You can put it into one piece. No, there's a notch in the stock that the forend snaps into, and it just makes it a nice. It's meant to make it to slip in a backpack really nicely. I just honestly think it makes the gun look better, and that's the only reason I want it.
Just gonna try to find it real quick and just show it off. Okay, so here's X22 PC backpacker stock. So it's $149, but it may lighten things up a little bit too.
It does, and then the stock, there's a flip-up compartment in the top of the stock that'll hold up to a 20-round magazine.
Oh, cool.
That's
Okay,
nice.
okay. And here's how it flips under for
If
Magpul, right there.
If Magpul's making this, is there maybe a greater potential for more aftermarket support for this platform? If Magpul is one of the bigger players, would that maybe entice other companies to say, "Oh, let's jump on board too," and that gives the owner more options?
Oh, I'm
They
sure you can
already
swap
are.
every part out on this thing by this point. I guarantee there's titanium bolt carrier groups, and there's probably custom springs, and there's.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. The heritage
yeah.
of this gun came from the design of the 1022. It really did. It's just a 9mm version of it. So you can get like from Ruger, you can get the BX trigger packs if you want to. There's a lot of stuff you can do for them.
Well, I like the fact that
Ooh,
it's
that's
available also in 40. I'm not a 40 guy, but I know there's 40 people out there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of appealing because not everybody wants a 9mm.
Run some Spear Gold dots through that thing.
Well, see,
you
that
got one heck of a formidable firearm for self-defense.
That picture you just showed shows how it stows. So if you want to take a rifle with you hiking, or if you're traveling, you want to keep a rifle with you, you don't want it to. You go into a hotel.
Put that in a tennis bag, dude.
Yeah, you don't want to go to a hotel saying, "Hey, look at here, I got a rifle." It's a nice little option. Comes factory with the pick rail on top. I just think it's a nice all around gun to have.
Polymer or metal? This top receiver is that aluminum
metal.
or steel, or it is metal, so it isn't plastic. Okay. Yeah, I mean I think that I would honestly invest in this, and I hate to say it, I'd probably sell the original furniture. I guarantee you'd have no trouble selling that, because somebody might have bought the the PPSH style with that big handguard. Maybe they want to go back to a polymer style instead. Yeah. You'd have no trouble selling the furniture for that thing online if you had to make some money back.
Yeah, it breaks down just like the 1022. There's the 2 screws. The whole thing pops out the top.
Okay. So again, all right. So PCC, definitely an awesome option for you. Lots of different styles, flavors, different finishes, and so on. Let's go back to Ruger here real quick. And then you start to get into the camo models. I'm a sucker for OD green. I just think it looks awesome. Now, you didn't like this one in OD green, is that right? Or did you go with OD green? I can't remember.
I do. Mine's all black just because it was cheaper. And then back to that Magpul stock, it comes in FDE, OD green, gray, or black.
I get an OD green just because that's how I get down. So then you've also got the Davidson's distributor exclusive. So if you go over to gungenie.com, you can get this particular model. It's got the Cerakote finish on it. They usually do gold and black for special editions through Davidson's. That's typically their color scheme that they go with. So really no other advantages, just a more exclusive model, I guess, or just a more limited run.
Well, part of the actually of that too, that you can't see it, but that rear sight is a ghost ring sight.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, how are the sights on it anyway? I guess I didn't ask you. There you go.
They're nice. They're fully adjustable. You gotta have a Allen wrench to adjust the sights, but you can adjust them up or down, side to side. Really good sight picture to it. I plan on throwing on like a prism scope or like a red dot or something with it.
So this is giving you a nice all around, lots of flexibility, magazine compatibility, different calibers to choose from. again, inexpensive mags. You can get the polymer if they work, and I'm assuming they will. You can get those Magpul polymer magazines. Not that it really matters. You're already dropping $700 on the weapon, or $600. What's another 40 for actual Glock mags? But if you want to have 5 30-round mags to take with you when you travel, you know, put some defensive grade hollow points in there. You've got a decent setup to go.
So doesn't that have different mag wells where you can swap between different, like 3 or 4 different types of mags? Two.
Yeah, it comes set up for a Ruger mag, and then it comes with the different mag weld you can do Glock mags with.
Because I know whenever it first came out, they said something about having CZ and Berettas as well. I didn't know if
I wonder if there's aftermarket support, or if anybody's 3D printed adapters for it.
I don't know.
The angle of the mag is going to work, and the adapter makes it work. I'm sure somebody could. I guarantee there's probably somebody out there is making a part that'll make it work.
Well, and this is the gun too that I introduced my daughter to 9mm with, because she was feeling brave. She wanted to shoot something more than 22, but it doesn't kick very much at all. It's because the weight handles it. And she really likes it. So between that and my 1911, she now wants to shoot 9mm. So I'm going broke.
Yeah, it's an expensive habit, isn't it? I mean, there's worse things your daughter could be spending money on. You know, there's always worse. So
yeah.
All right, we're going to keep moving on here. Let's go to the next one, and now we're going to go check out and see what PSA has. And this is where I can start to chime in. This morning when I got up at 5:30 Central Time, PSA had about 12 different models of AKVs in stock, and that blew my mind, because for the longest time you couldn't get anything. Like, they were sold out for months. When I got mine, I just happened to get an email. I bought mine with my second pandemic check. And they just happen to have the OD green with the SBA 3 stock on the back, or the SBA 3 pistol grip on the back of it. And that's what I picked up. So let's check out the AKVs, and they still have them in stock this morning. So here's the thing. These are awesome. Magazines are relatively inexpensive. Recoil is manageable. The trigger takes a little getting used to. It is light, and if you're not careful, you can actuate it in a way that will make it shoot really fast, but they are still individual pulls of the trigger every time. You've got AK furniture compatibility. Like I said, mine came with the Magpul OD green furniture, and then I went over to AK-47 Operator Union's channel and bought the cheese grater gas tube cover for it. Although it is blowback style, it does have like a sort of AK bolt action design, or bolt design to it. It sort of has a piston to it, but it's more just for the guide of the function, and not gas tube based at all. So
remember, it's a blowback, so that is weight in the system. So
and it does kick more than you think it should. It's like, God, this thing weighs like 7 or 8 pounds, right? It's like, I can't believe this thing has this much recoil, but it's totally manageable. It is fun to shoot, and it is expensive if you look at 9mm ammo costs these days, right? So here's the model that I bought right here. I absolutely love it. Squib, you got to check it out. What was your take on it? I mean, you didn't get to shoot it, but you kind of handled it a little bit. What'd you think?
I mean, it's
kind of cool.
Not too big. It's not too heavy. It's, it's different.
Right.
It's different.
Very, very accurate though. Even the iron sights, when I'd range test mine just at 25 yards, because to me that'd be a realistic distance I'd have to use it. That's just an old forging right there picture, but very accurate right out of the box. I don't even have to put a red dot on it, because the irons are so spot on right out of the factory. They've got a ton of magazine options. They got the banana clip option. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
This runs Scorpion mags, right?
Yeah, you can run CZ Scorpion mags through it. The mags are normally so they're on the stock on mags, but normally the mags are like $15 or $16. I've got about 8 mags for mine. I do have some smoke and some clear ones. Yeah, they've got the Chiquita banana mag you can get also.
I'll be honest to you, I've wanted one of those since I shot yours, but I'm not willing to spend $1,200 on them like they're going for right now.
Yeah, no, for a while they were going for $1,200 on Gunbroker when they were all sold out. So
I think my reaction was it's different, but if I was to go this route, I'd go with the Micro Draco. Same principle, but not exactly the same.
But yeah.
Or
the Kalashnikov, not Kalashnikov concern, but Kalashnikov makes one also you can get.
But I think it was that this is probably a lot more available. The Dracos are in and out of stock, and a lot of times they've only got the minis, and I want the micro. And this, even though PSA, I'm always saying that PSA, says they're going to have it, and then they don't. This is probably a little bit easier to get.
I love the banana mags. I need to pick up one of those. Those are just awesome. That's so cool. But I've been very happy with it. It's been very reliable. Haven't had any issues whatsoever with it. I tested it and did some chrono testing on it. Also, it does give you a nice, full velocity delivery. Barrel on this one, I can't remember the barrel length. Is it 10.5 inches maybe? Let me check and see here real quick. Yeah, 10.5 inch nitrided 4150 steel barrel, 1 in 10 twist. The muzzle device is pretty heavy on it, but it is compatible with a lot of other muzzle devices, or you can put a can on there if you want to. What's that?
If you get one, it's got a very nice trigger. It's getting good handle on it because it's easy to accidentally bump fire.
Yeah, it's got a very light trigger. I mean, and you can get an ALG trigger for it also. If you want to go with the Geisley, you can. They even sell them with the Geisley upgrade. There's a few on these that are the more spec'd out models that run into and see, that's what you're talking about, Squib. Some of these I was looking at, like I thought, oh, there was the one that was in the Grand Thumb video. It has this type of handguard on the front. You had the triangle folding stock. It was pushing about $1,200. When I bought mine, it was $879, and that was getting up there in price because it was over $900, almost $1,000 by the time I got it at home. So yeah, $1,059, and this doesn't even have the middle handguard on the front. Yeah,
it's something. Whenever we get something at a good price, or at least at the time we might not even consider that a good price. Maybe we're not getting ripped off, but it's just and then that thing goes way up in price. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, this was a good investment, or this was a good choice, or something like that. Every now and then something will come back down. We've seen ARs and AKs go up and down, but in the past few years, they've been more up than anything else. But some of these other, maybe not as common platforms typically don't come back down in value and then go back up. But there's something to be said too about some of the ways some of the laws end up where something gets grandfathered in. So if you got it, you're good, or just some changes are made, and now you've got the older one where they maybe use better quality control, or better this or better that. And I got to tell you that I've had situations where I've passed up something, and every single time I've kicked myself because I should have just spent the money. I had it, I should have spent it. So you might be a little bit.
I don't regret buying it at all, just because it's fun to shoot. Well, I'm thinking as a defensive firearm, it's short, it's compact. I got 35 round mags. You can get 15 round extensions to put on those mags, by the way. You can have 50 rounds mags. I mean, I'm thinking, man, you want something to defend the home. And at the time I got it, all the riots and stuff were going on. I'm like, okay, I've got 6 50 round mags and an AKV. If I need more than that, I've got some serious problems.
Well, also with these PCCs, the AR styles are actually anything with the Glock mag. MBX, they have mag extensions that hold up to 58 rounds of 9.
Oh my God. So I mean, you want to talk about again, it's always about just, worst case scenario planning, right?
Yep. Yeah. And MBX, I mean, they're pricey, very pricey. They also have metal Glock mags instead of polymer.
Oh, okay.
Squid brought up a good point too with the price of them now. Like, quite honestly, when you first got it, I thought it was cool, but I thought you were nuts for what you spent for it. Because like at the time, I was like, I can build an AR for half that, but now I see the value, because you could sell yours for a profit right now.
You can sell them for a profit, or if you were looking to get one, you didn't have one. Now you're going, man, look how much they went up. The problem, though, what I was setting it up for is, all right, say you don't have anything like this, or you're new to guns, but you're aware, or you know people who've been into guns for a long time, and they're telling you, yeah, man, the prices are way up. Do you buy it now thinking, if I don't get it now, I don't get it because a law could come into place, and now if I'm not grandfathered in, I'm up a creek? Or do you say, I only see this going up in price even more? Or does something change and things start coming back down in price? I bought it because I got an email telling me it was in stock, and they had been sold out for months. Like through the pandemic, they got the OD green one in. I got the email saying, hey, look what's in stock. And I bought it. I will tell you this right now. If you want to buy something from PSA, look at like 6 o'clock in the morning Central Time, 5 to 6 a.m. They've got a lot of stuff in stock. Dagger pistols, AKVs. I don't know if that's when they post new inventory for the day, because that's when I see most of the stuff pulling up. So whenever people complain and say, oh, they never have them in stock, it's like, when are you looking? Second, when you get that email that says it's in stock, are you buying it within 5 minutes? Because if you're not going to get it. So you get it and you go home from work at 3 o'clock and it's sold out. That's on you, because these are just super popular firearms, But I bought it because it was in stock, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a good home defense weapon, because I've got the 9mm cartridge. I got something that the wife could use. It's got 35 round mags. I've got a ton of 9mm. That was my mentality when I bought it at the time, and I didn't have a PCC at the time either. This was before I bought my High Point. So I get what you're saying about check early in the morning and all that other stuff. And I've had to do that in some cases with some of the choices I've made in the past, but you really shouldn't have to as a customer. I get that you know, there's lots of things we shouldn't have to do that we do, right? To make it work. But really, then that's my frustration with Palmetto State Armory. They're like one of these companies that says, hey, we're going to have this. Oh, wait, they did in 10 to 12 weeks. All right, well, dude, I want it now. And I don't understand why you don't have 5,000 of these on the shelf ready to go. I think that's bad business practice. On the other hand, they're making money, right? So they're not going to listen to a guy like me. They're like, look, we make money. Who cares what you think? And it's just a matter of what you're willing to do. If you're saying, I ain't getting up at 5 a.m. to go online to do that, or you're going, I got to have this. And we all make our choices, but that's why I'm wondering with the cost being so, like right now, I couldn't advise somebody to go out and buy ammo in bulk. I still think it's going to come down in price. But with these firearms, you know, I don't know. There's just some stuff I'm willing to pay a little bit more, but maybe it's because I've been doing this for so long and I've got stuff at good prices in most cases in the past. I just don't know that I'm willing to pay some of these prices right now. The ammo's getting better. The guns really haven't been going back down in price. And I'm not exactly sure why, other than these BS excuses about
the
shortages.
Polymer guns have.
Well,
the Polymer guns are going down in price. The metal guns, I can see where they are elevated because of, you know, material costs.
Materials is nothing. It's nothing. It's literally, that is as a manufacturer, I'm going to jump on my manufacturer soapbox. It's nothing. Do you know how many ounces of metal they have in this? Everything they shave off of that, they recycle. They don't, whenever they tell you that okay, it costs the same to make an F-150 as it does to make a subcompact, if Ford had it, subcompact car. It literally costs the same.
The Ford Fusion was the same price as an F-150.
Yes, it literally costs the same to make the vehicles.
MSRP.
And you go, one is double or triple the weight. It's got, air quotes, more material in it. It doesn't matter. The material costs are minimal. They are absolutely. Now, if there's more processes involved, or there's more R&D involved, or more marketing involved, or it costs more to ship it, or something like that, that's where you're going to see your markup. Or if there's a big demand for it and you're paying your employees overtime to keep up with demand because you actually have a good business model, that's going to be your markup. But don't ever believe them when they say materials, because that's a load of crap. An extra ounce here, an extra pound there. Sure, over the course of 1.5 million units, that's a lot of stuff, but it's not that big of a deal. There are other factors involved. So I just don't understand the amount of money they're spending on with plastics going up because oil prices are up, or metals going up because of the demand, is pennies and dollars, not hundreds of dollars. So it's got to be the shortage, and that's labor and other things like that. But still, I mean, ammo's coming back down. Why aren't guns coming back down?
Well, they are. Look, here you can get this one for $5.99.
As far as the PSA, I'll tell you, I've been in sales for 26 years. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of it's good marketing practice on their end. They are doing great marketing. They're creating a sense of urgency among their customers. We have it, better buy it now, rather than the other model.
Fear-mongering.
No, it's sales 101. Sales is kind of an emotional business. People buy based on emotion.
Like, oh my God, it's in stock. I have to have it. And guess what? Yeah. I went right over to the computer and bought it 5 minutes after I got that email.
Rather than always having it in stock, and people I can always get one whenever I want to. That's a brilliant sales model. It really is, because it creates a sense of urgency. It gets emotion in people. Like, I got it. I got to have it right now.
Can't you see the emotion on my face?
So what
I had to have it.
Bullshit artist.
When you have a product to sell, if there's no sense of urgency with your customers, they want it, and there's an incentive to buy it now, you're going to lose sales to other people, other companies. That's
especially if it's a want thing instead of a need thing.
Right.
Well, look at this. I don't need this. I'm okay without it, but I want this in this camo pattern. And you know what? It's out of stock. It's been out of stock for 9 months. But the second I get an email saying it's in stock, I'm going to buy it because I've been waiting.
Major purchases,
man. Yeah.
Major purchases people buy based on how they feel, how their emotion. Have you never? I know you're maybe a little more sensible than most customers, but like, let's say you go to a gun store, like, oh man, I've been looking for this. It's a good price. They have it now. Maybe I shouldn't do it, but screw it. I'm going to put it on the credit card so I don't lose it.
Yeah,
that's emotional based buying, and
but still, it's got to be okay. For example, it used to be $600 all day long. Now it's $1,200. But I haven't seen it in years. And I go to the gun store and they got it for $4,000. They can keep their damn gun. Okay. Right. So I'm just saying some of these markups for me, it's difficult for me. I'm not a salesperson. Okay. I'm just not. Well, and I never have been, but I just, it's difficult for me to encourage somebody to buy some of this stuff. But I know some people are like, I got to have it now because I only have one gun and I need more. And it's like, it's your money. Do what you want. You know, it's just like the people who go out and buy ammo at these prices. You've seen me. I bought a couple boxes here or there. Those are stocking stuffers. That's the only reason I spent these elevated prices. Right. I still think if we send a message to them about supply and demand, I realize we're not going to get everybody on the same page. And I ain't one of these people that wants to put people's arms behind their back like other YouTube channels. That it's going to bring back the normal pricing. And I think that's what we really all should be paying.
Well, and I wasn't really addressing the pricing part of it. You said you didn't like the business model where you had to order it to be 10 to 12 weeks or buy it now. Look, that's what I'm talking about. They create urgency with, oh, it's going to be 10 to 12 weeks. I better get my order in before it's longer, or that sort of thing. That's the part I was talking about.
And on this, it's not on the it's the business model that the PSA is going with, but if you fall for it, you fall for it knowing that that's their business model.
Yeah, and look at their other business model right now. Like there's day after day after day, they never sell out of their quote unquote blem items right now. It's a normal thing. But people are buying them because like, oh, it's a blem, it's a lower price. I better buy it before they run out. And I haven't.
It's funny how the blems disappeared. The blems totally disappeared during the height of the pandemic. There were no blems for sale. Nothing was a blem. And then things slow down and blems start showing up again. And I'm not
if they truly had this,
hey, I'll take the savings. I'll take the savings as a customer. I just thought it was odd.
If they truly had this many blems, they'd be out of business because they'd be returning their stuff right and left.
I've been disappointed. I've been disappointed in the past 2 years about how companies don't care about their customers more so than in the past. I understand in the past there were situations, and you're always going to have that proprietor that has their attitude problem, or the real big company that has so many customers they don't care. But as a customer, I just don't think that I'm valued anymore. And when they got somebody come walking in off the street who just turned 18 or just turned 21, is buying their first gun, and they don't know because they see a sucker coming. But when I come walking in the store, I'm going, this is a $400 gun all day long. Don't even. They're not going to bring the price down, and they'll give you the attitude. I'll sell 2 more, before the end of the day today. I don't care if you buy it or not. And I'm not trying to haggle or be some sort of cheapskate or something like that. But I guess it's just some of these elevated prices. I have not bought very many items in the past 2 years that have been overpriced. I've bought a few, but most of the stuff I've been spending my money on is still normal price or normal availability. It's things that I hadn't got before that I'm like, well, now's as good a time as ever because I'm not paying $50 for a box of ammo that's normally $9, or I'm not paying $1,200 for a $400 gun or something like that. So I just have a tough time selling this stuff.
Well, and you being in manufacturer, you and I see it in 2 completely different ways. Because to me, it's marked down $100. It's a blem. I have to have it. To you, it's like, yeah, but it's $300 more than it was a year ago, and it's the exact same product. What's going on? And you're more rational about that because you see the value from the production side to the sales side. Where me, I just see the price. All right. So real quick, this is from Ozzy Orsborn. This got sent to my other email account. If I log into it, it'll log me out of StreamYard. We got a little, PCC, if I'm not mistaken, is what we're running there.
That's the PC charger, yep.
PC charger, that is sweet. That looks good. He's got that RNLdisplays.com, Glock mag compatible display going on there. So make sure you guys get over there and pick one up. So lots of goodies. I got 3 more companies I want us to get through before we call it. So we're going to head over and check out a couple more. Now, one that we tend to forget about, and they're going to be pricey. And me, I like these, but man, they just seem so friggin' short. All right, the Sig, you got the Copperhead and the MPXK. Ooh, man, what do you guys think? If you want something, let's say you drive a Geo Metro and you don't have a lot of room to move around and you need to defend yourself, this is definitely the way to go for you compact car drivers.
Stuff like this, I think this is a 100% gimmick because a pistol, you're negating every advantage with having something this short that you would with a normal pistol. I mean, normal pistol, it's more flexible. You have a little bit more rounds in this, but I would rather have a normal pistol over that.
Does Sig offer this in full auto for security detail and stuff like that? I'm wondering if that was the original kind of intention for something like this. Somebody needs like operators that need an ultra compact concealable select fire 9mm that's gonna maybe kind of take the place of maybe like a P90. I'm kind of curious. I haven't looked on their law enforcement because you can click on military and police and check their lines and see what they offer. So I love this. I would just be worried about getting my hand in front of that muzzle, man. You really got to pay attention to that thing, you know?
Personally, for that,
it's cool looking, but yeah.
I'd personally rather have the X-Star just because that would be something a toy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So show off the Sig law enforcement. Oh, they don't really tell you. Yeah, they want you to contact them because I was kind of curious to see what they offer in their line. There we go. Yeah, that looks like it's got three settings for safe, semi.
Yeah, see, here's the guns you can't have. Well, actually, you can if you have an SOT, but lots of people don't feel like getting one.
That would be so.
The whole thing about you can't get a modern full auto. Yes, you can, and it's totally legal. You're just lazy.
You don't have to pay or go through the paperwork. Yeah,
you just have to pay the $500 a year.
That Rattler's kind of cool.
And I don't agree with that. I'm just saying when somebody goes, "You can't do it," no, that's an inaccurate statement. That's all.
So again, Sig's got some options for you also. MPX, K, the Copperhead, the MPX PCC. But how much is the Copperhead? Are these about 1,000 more? What's the MSRP on? I don't know if they put the MSRP on these things. They don't. If you got to ask, you can't afford it, right? So again, Sig does have some options if you're a Sig fan. But like I said, full auto, security detail. I can get it. I can understand the application of something like this, or maybe vehicle operators that need something compact that's going to help them defend themselves in a certain situation. I mean, there's an application for these things, and they just look cool anyway, See, I like the MPX-K a little bit better. I guess, you know what? I'm sorry I didn't bring up the H&K, MP5K or whatever we've got. I didn't even bring up the H&K stuff.
Well, yeah.
Turkish clones and stuff like that, so.
One thing
so
I would be curious about the Sig, and I'm probably going to make some people mad here. I own a couple Sigs. I don't like Sig triggers. I wonder if they're any better on those.
They might be using like an AR style trigger, like an AR trigger pack in it, possibly, or it could be proprietary. I don't know.
I don't think they are.
I'm so spoiled with I'm so spoiled with my Walther and my HK triggers. I don't like the Sig trigger. I hate the trigger on my P365. I'm being honest. I actually like the trigger on your P365 better than mine because I don't like the flat trigger guard.
I wasn't a big fan of it either. When I tested all three models in the gun store before I bought the P3 or at the range. Before I bought the P365, and I like just the original trigger. I thought, it's a little small for my hand.
So you got the X trigger?
He does.
I got the XL,
isn't it? Yeah.
I have the XL. I like the feel of the trigger. I don't like the feel of the trigger shoe.
Yeah, I don't. I want to swap it out for a curved one. The only Sig I've ever shot that I truly liked the trigger on was the X5 Legion.
The only Sig that I've ever pulled the trigger on that I liked was their 1911.
Yeah, I do like the 1911s. They're nice. I almost would have got it, but I couldn't get the stainless with just the wood grip. That color combo they didn't offer unless you wanted to get the California compliant model, and it had some features on it I didn't like, and I didn't want to support a California compliant idea by supporting sales of California compliant models. That's why I won't buy anything that's Cali compliant. But yeah, so what's the problem with these then, Foos? What's going on with the Banshees, or what have you heard or seen? Because this doesn't get exactly favorable reviews.
Yeah, so because it's a delayed blowback. It's not a roller blowback. What it is, it's the lugs on your regular AR-15. They're cut at angles. So what happens is whenever they get dirty, they don't operate.
So even this 9mm can use that style bolt carrier group, is what you're saying?
Well, no, bolt carrier group, yes, but what it is, it's their bolt still twists just like a normal AR bolt, but instead of it being flat on the back of an AR bolt, they're like at a 45 degree angle, something like that. So so you have to overcome that and rotate. What it is, it's it's good in theory, but in practice, it doesn't work. It either opens up too soon or just doesn't open. Hot, you have to keep them very clean. If it gets dry, it will work much different than if it's wet. So,
is this considered a pistol, like a stability fin, or is this an SBR?
It's a brace.
No, it can't be because that vertical foregrip.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So, well, they're teasing us with the SBR versions, of course, on the website, but yeah, you can get them in different barrel lengths and different styles. But I saw the VFG on there. I was thinking, what is that?
Am I the only one that every time you say CMMG, I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke?
CMMG. So yeah, and they say rifle, so they must be just showing us this, but there's actually the 16-inch barrel model that you're going to be looking at. Yeah, and they've got all these different. When you go into their catalog, they've got all these different types and styles.
I'm not a fan of them. I've seen several of them, and they just fail. Like JP rifles, they are coming out with a true roller delayed blowback.
Mm-hmm.
Much, much, much better, much more reliable.
Okay.
I think it's their Gen 3 or Gen 4, something like that.
Yeah. Hey, AWAG, you still out there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening.
What are your thoughts overall, the PCC world in general? If you were going to get one, what would you go with? Would you go with the High Point?
Okay.
Or would you go? What do you think?
I have an answer for you.
Lay some knowledge on us, brother. All right.
I am bougie as heck. So I am cross between the B&T TP9, I think.
Oh, I like that. I like the TP.
And then there's
I like that.
And then there's the B&T. I want to say it's the APCK.
Okay, let's look.
It's the new Army's submachine gun that.
Let's go check on another house down payment priced firearm.
Yeah, they're like $1,800. The
a PDW.
Yep, the TP9.
Ooh, TP9. I wish it was a TP11. I'd buy one. There you go. God, that looks like the H&K MP7 or whatever. That's kind of what that reminds me of, that look.
But in my personal opinion, it's objectively better because it's 9mm.
Ah, okay. Instead of what? It's that weird 4.5.
It's that weird 4.7.
4.7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is kind of cool, man. You got to admit that is pretty sweet. Oh, like they got the fun switch over here. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the definition. The mechanical definition of go away.
So these are pretty awesome then, because I mean I've seen, like, I know, like, I didn't Yankee have a B&T, and I've seen some videos on it. Most of the ones you see are neutered. They don't have the brace on the back, and you're not going to see it with the suppressor or the VFG. You just get the stripped down kind of pistol version of it, like this guy right here.
Another thing that B&T makes, I really like B&T as a company. They make a chassis for the Glock pistols and the Sig P320s. And I think they look pretty cool. I think it would just be under pistols.
Your specialty, the GL06? No, that's not it.
That's a grenade launcher.
There you go.
There you go.
Construction worker yellow.
That's totally a pistol caliber, right?
Okay, I don't know if they've got the chassis on here.
It might be under pistols.
Okay. Now they got the Station 6.
Okay, maybe not.
Okay, so they do make a you said they make a chassis for the for the Glock. Okay.
That thing's ugly.
What if they'd have them under? No. So I could afford a T-shirt, maybe a koozie from there, but yeah. All right.
B&T definitely makes some really awesome stuff.
And it's all made in Switzerland, isn't it? Or are they Austrian or Swiss or something? Like that?
I think they're Swiss.
Okay. Cool, man. How much does that chassis cost for the Glock?
I want to say they're like $300.
Wow. Okay, so that's actually decent.
Let me look up the nomenclature.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to it here. You do that, and we're going to move on to the last company that I have lined up for us to look at today. I'm trying to cover the whole gamut of PCC options, and I got a feeling it's going to be an expensive next couple weeks for some people. So Tara Smith is out there saying something in Czech. I think I'll have to run that through the translator. Tara, I can only say like Yaksimash Dobja and then bad words in Czech, and that's basically all I know. So
I posted the link to the chassis.
M. Gabriel says back with deer liver for pate. M. Gabriel must have harvested his deer this morning. There you go. There you go, man. All right. What's that? Go ahead, AWAG. Go ahead.
Link is in the chat.
Oh, okay. Is it in the private chat? Okay, we'll bring it up real quick here. All right, so let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. Okay, I've seen. Okay, I think didn't like TFB TV do a video on this recently?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I've seen this before. So you tell me what is. I mean, it's not exactly a pistol caliber carbine, but what would be an advantage of going with this over just a regular P320? All right.
Technically speaking, it would be a carbine, because if you do SBR it, you can put a vertical foregrip on it, and essentially that makes it a rifle. But it offers a lot more stability when shooting a pistol, and since it has a side folder, you could still have the ability to holster it, which is really cool.
No, okay. You wouldn't have to have any special cuts for it at all.
The bad thing about that is it's still a SIG.
They make one for Glock too.
Come on, there you go.
Not like the SIG 320. I've never been a fan.
But could you imagine that with like a fun switch on it? Just
yeah, that would be awesome.
Because the 320, the 320s, you can get like what, 25 round magazines for them?
9 mil you can get, about that. 140 millimeter length, yeah.
That's pretty cool looking. That might be the ultimate PCC right there. You got that 3.0 contact going on if you want it. Or you can flip it back. 3-ish. You can get your hand up there in the front somewhere. Put an AFG on that thing.
Yeah. The only bad thing about these pistols is, you're going to have the 3-point contact, but your left hand, which does all the, or your offhand, which does all the recoil mitigation, is going to be slightly off the pistol because you have that thing closer to your face and on your shoulder. So you're not going to
putting your hand around the front of the trigger guard and kind of gripping it like that, trying to keep your thumb out of the way of the barrel, basically.
Right.
But
it's
they need to make one of those for my wall through PDP with a 5-inch barrel. I would buy one of those in a heartbeat. That'd be sweet. They'll never do that because it's not a popular enough model, but still.
Yeah, I definitely liked B&T as a company. They do some cool stuff.
You freeze?
I think so. I think he got kicked out of his own chat.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Did you guys see what I put in the private chat? He's forgetting the original PCC, the Tommy gun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Timing is
transportation-wise, breakdown, and it'd be nice just kind of
Travis, you broke up.
You were frozen for a minute or two.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. We were making fun of you.
Oh, I had no idea. I couldn't hear anything, so I had no idea. Nobody told me anything. I got a good connection. I can't do anything about it. So
we didn't hear anything you talked about. As long as you had this on the screen, you were just frozen. You were just.
Which was like 5 seconds ago. Okay, so this is your Kel-Tec Sub 2000. Do you guys have any experience with this at all? Anybody ever fire one or own one?
A buddy of mine in Springfield, Missouri, made GM with the Sub 2K.
Travis, you're frozen again. Just so you know, if you can hear us,
he can't hear us. Not at all. He's out there just yapping away, thinking he's live, and nothing.
See, I think this Sub 2000, although I think it's kind of weird looking, I think it'd be a better backpack gun because you just flip it. You don't have to, like mine, you have to twist the pieces together.
It is, but like with yours, you could have a red dot associated with it. And here, you really can't unless you get a different foregrip. Then you have to undo it, and then you have to rotate your forward grip and stuff like that. So it's.
Travis, you're back now. We can hear you.
Yeah, my printer just connected and unconnected. I don't know if it froze up my computer, so I'm hardwired in. I'm hardwired into my LAN connection with my line, so I can't control it. But I think it's too much gun love for the internet to handle right now. So anyway, Sub 2000, you guys were talking about it. I wasn't able to hear. New York Outcast says I like the one that I shot. I was looking for one of them too.
I was just saying the Sub 2000. I'm not a big Kel-Tec fan just by its own design, but I think it's a good truck gun or travel gun because it's not quite like just a regular folder, but you don't have to, like with my PC Carbine, I have to physically take the pieces and put them together before you can fire it. And that thing, you just flip the stock open and you're good to go.
Let's see here. Is that those Glock mag compatible? I guess I'm
Yes.
assuming, right? Are there not? Do they make any other adapters for them at all? No Ruger.
No, no, there's Sig and Beretta and Glock.
And I might be wrong too, because the current generations, I think you can fold but keep the mag in, whereas the previous generation you couldn't operate it with the way it folded. You had to take the mag out.
Okay. So I know they've done some revisions to it and stuff like that. But again, you can get those inexpensive Magpul PMags. You can get 30 round mags or 20, whatever they are. 30 round mags for it to run through it. And they're inexpensive. So again, if you want something easy for transport, again, that's one of the nice things about the PCC versus other firearms out there, full size rifles and such, is the portability of it. The takedown model options, the gray man approach, getting a nice inconspicuous backpack or duffel bag, or carry case for it to take it in places when you travel. And that's funny. Whenever I travel, my truck gun's just kind of whatever my loadout is, whatever I'm taking with me for the road. Sometimes I'll grab, depending on where I'm going, sometimes I'll take the full size AR in a case. Sometimes I'll just take the little 7.62 pistol because I know if I need something quick and easy, it's right there. It really does. And I'm always taking a pistol, obviously a handgun, but it kind of depends on what I do. And I tend to go towards the more compact firearms that I have in my collection more often than I do the full size rifles, like my 10.5-inch 300 Blackout AR pistol. I love it. I mean, that thing's great. I'll take that with me when I'm on the road too. So,
well, when I'm on the road, I have that backpack that holds like an M4 carbine or my Ruger. I like to take that. I like to take that with me because you have to separate them, but it holds the whole gun in there, and nobody knows you have it.
Yeah, if you're staying in a hotel or something, you're going to be on the road, whatever. Because I've always got my pistol at the ready in the car. It's always with me. So if I need it, but I've got that. If I'd ever have to get out and do something or whatever, something happens and I need something a little more serious, it's always with me, and that's nice to have too. And that mag compatibility is really cool to have between your primary carry and your PCC. That's a nice option in case your pistol would fail or you just need better range or better points of contact or more stability. You can share mags between two firearms. I hate proprietary magazines in some guns. Yeah.
So whenever you start talking about like that, you're looking at, okay, I'm basically going to have a Glock 17 with something, because like these PCCs, they'll hold a Glock 19, but they won't hold a 26. So you have to think, if mag capacity, you have to make sure that your carry mag will fit in the other one if needed.
Well, I'm saying like a G17, not versus my P365. Obviously, I know that's not going to happen, but no, I see what you're saying. But like if you got a Beretta or you've got a Glock or you got a Ruger, there's a PCC you can easily pair up with it if you need to. There's always something if you want to go that route. Just as some people want to maximize their purchase flexibility, and so going with something that'll work either with the caliber or the magazines of your carry gun, is always a nice thing. CC, are there any CZ compatible other than the AKV using Scorpion mags? Are there any other? Foos, are there any CZ products that are compatible with any PCCs at all? Does anybody make adapters that you know of? It'll take CZ mags in your.
I did see an adapter for a CZ75. I think in a 9, like an AR9, but that's it.
Yeah.
So Foos, cool. So you love the CZs and everything. So how long exactly have you had a man bun and skinny jeans?
Well, I've never had skinny jeans, and here in probably a couple months, I may have enough hair for a man bun.
There you go. Get that mane going on there. So you can say what you want, but I mean, CZ makes one hell of a handgun. I mean, it's hard to argue the 75 isn't awesome. Or I shot some of Foos's pistols, and they're just smooth shooters, man. So if you're buying it for competition reasons, I think the whole hipster thing does not appeal. Does not apply to you because you're using it for, you're not doing it because it's the coolest thing that everybody has in urban gray. I can't see
Foos tooling around town on a longboard carrying a typewriter. So I'll give him some credit there.
So
he's got his kayak on top of his Subaru,
the whole
mountain bike on the back.
The whole thing of like the urban gray finish, that is the god worst finish period for CZs. Oh my god. Horrible.
Yeah, you don't like that? I think, and see, the thing is, those are usually cheaper, like the SPO1s and stuff like that. The urban gray finish is usually like $200 cheaper,
The finish wears off so much faster.
I'm going to pass on that one if I ever get my Shadow. My SPO1 Shadow will probably be my next handgun purchase, and then I got to get one of those 357 or 44 mag lever guns. Those are just 50 shades of cool. So there you go. Awesome. Okay, well, guys, anything else you want to add to the PCC conversation? I think we've got people shopping online now, and they got their credit cards handy. I do want to say this real quick. What was it? Was it G23 maybe had mentioned Black Friday sales and stuff like that? Maybe next week that'll be the discussion. We might start to see some ads popping up from some retailers and seeing if there's any good deals at all. I mean, if you're a retailer and you want to have people come to your store as a doorbuster, do boxes of 9mm for $8.99. You'll have people camping out days in advance. You thought the latest iPhone was hot with people camping out days to get it. You do $9 boxes of 50 rounds of 9mm. You will have like people lined up to the door. But I mean, I know nothing about marketing. What do I know about
You'll
marketing?
have riots and stampedes.
You have riots. People start beating each other up trying to get in there to get that one box minimum, one box maximum, you know? So I'm telling you, make it a loss leader. It'll be worth your time. So, all right, guys, I think that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. We've been going for almost 2 hours, and I'm going to the range today. We're gonna break in this bad boy right here. We're gonna have some fun, and I may or may not film with it. It depends on how busy the range is and how windy it is. But I might just go out just for the pleasure of the shooting and so on, if you will, at the range. So, all right. So let's let the panel go ahead and close it out. Squib, any final words of wisdom? Anything you want to say?
No, not really. I mean, pistol caliber carbines are something that it's not a bad idea to have if you're trying to have a variety of firearms that do different jobs. I like the compatibility with your sidearm, and for some people, compact is everything. It's not necessarily my thing, but I can see times where it's useful. So it's something that it's nice to talk about every so often, because there are some changes. Some things get discontinued, some things get improved, or new things come to the market. So when we have these discussions, I don't always think I have as much to bring as the rest of you guys, but maybe that's just encouragement for me to go out there and get another pistol caliber carbine.
Add another one to the
another one.
Yeah, that high point wasn't going to happen. When I heard I could trade off the Jimenez, which was gently used and adult owned, I had to trade the Jimenez in. So,
well, I mean,
from a non-smoking home,
it's that, or just, I don't know. Next time I'm at the range, if I see something, maybe ask somebody if I could try it out. Usually the people at the range are pretty friendly, and most of the time it's people coming to me asking me to shoot my guns. It ain't the other way around, but I suppose maybe I could do that.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Well, hey, I appreciate having you here. And it's fun just chatting about these things and sharing our experiences and spending other people's money. So, all right. Defense Stat, anything you would say before we go?
Oh, no. Thanks for having me. It was a fun discussion. If you feel like checking my channel out, I finally put a new video out, and check out everybody else's channels too.
Yeah. And then you got that Manus training system going on. So go over there and check that out, especially with winter coming up. You want to keep up on your training indoors or just practice the dry fire and stuff. The Manus system is out there. Yeah.
I'll give you a little teaser with that. It helps you discover if you have crappy sights on your gun more so than what you realize, or if your holster sucks. It's a side effect of a training system like that, because it'll point out the deficiencies in your equipment.
So will it tell me if my G17 sights are truly off or if it's just me?
It won't do that. The Mantis X system has trigger control on it, but you can, with that system, you can set the distance you're shooting for. You can adjust. You have an optic on your, if you're doing it with with my Ruger, I could do, you can adjust the height from your point of aim on your optic to your barrel to make it more accurate. There's a lot of little tweaks you can do, but what I found is with it, like I used my old phone for filming. My old phone didn't pick up the target as well unless I had a studio light shining on it. That simulated almost shooting with a weapon light on your pistol. When I tried it on my G3C, it pointed out how crappy the sights are and how hard it is to pick up those sights. I couldn't get the times off in the 2.5 parameter I had set. Okay. Whereas I could on my other guns with better sights. So a system like that doesn't replace dry fire training or live fire shooting whatsoever, but it does help.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out the video on that. Get a chance to sit down and watch it, and see what I think about it, and maybe get a chance to test it out. So yeah, because it's good. It does show point of impact, right, or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would know, like, if my sights are lined up and the point of impact is on the left, it means my sights are seriously off.
Yeah, this system has
that would show that. That would show that, not my
Yeah.
trigger pull necessarily, but like if the sights need to be physically adjusted, I'm right on it, holding it dead still, and it's to the left like 2 inches, and I know I've got an issue with my rear sight.
The laser inserts into your barrel like a bore sighter, but it doesn't have a ridge, so every time you rack the slide, it doesn't eject it.
Okay.
So it shows you point of aim, but there's some features that their Mantis X10 that can be do with dry fire or live fire that I wish they could incorporate into this. But overall, for $150, it's a nice setup.
Oh, heck yeah. Definitely. Cool. All right. AWAG, anything you would say before we go?
Not much. Just I just realized the Night Strike for President 2024.
Oh yeah, I've had that up there.
Totally do that.
Here you go. Sandhills Media for Senate, Nebraska Senate.
There you go.
Sandhills Media, aka Sandhills Shooter. Yep.
Yeah. So check out my channel. Hopefully a lot more stuff coming soon. I got a promotion at work, so I'm gonna have a lot more time to do more stuff on my YouTube channel. It's probably not gonna be like reviews or anything due to my line of work. Yeah, so Defense Dad is the best dad of the year, even though he is not my dad. He is dad of the year.
Awesome. He is dad of the year. He's everybody's father.
But as always,
be yours too, by the way. Yeah.
As always, Travis, thank you for having me on. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Dude, it's good to have you here, and you got that manufacturing experience and that knowledge and stuff, and then just to kind of get the opinion of somebody who's a little bit younger that might, be marketed to differently than us old farts. It's kind of neat to just have a chat with somebody to see what they think and kind of get their take on it. It was good. It's refreshing to have a bit of a change. So I appreciate having you here. You've been with us since kindergarten. So no, it hasn't been that long. But no, I do appreciate having you coming back.
First grade.
So, first grade. It was first grade. That's right. You were still on the tricycle. So yep. Before you bought the Supra. Yeah. Cool, man. All right. And last but not least, Foos, anything you want to say before we go?
Nope.
No. All right. Cool. It's like, yeah, I've said enough already. No, and you make some good points about the PCCs, and I don't. It's good to have, you got to take a look at things, a little bit objectively, a little bit, and
yeah, I'm just not a PCC fan.
You're PC. You're just not PCC, right?
No, fuck no, I'm not PC.
Whoa, language.
Sorry.
Come on, this is a kid show.
See, I'm not PC.
You are really opposed to PCCs, aren't you? Hang on a second. I got my stepdad chiming in because he's ready to go to the range. I'm like, I'm just about done here, bro. Chill. All right. Hang on one second.
If you'd watch, he'd know.
Well, he's on the road, so he's not fiddling with his phone right now. So, all right, there we go. So anyway, again, and listen to the points that Foos has to make, because we might be saving you $1,000, or the $1,000 might be better spent doing some training, a little more range time, maybe picking up a new pistol, because PCCs can be a very expensive rabbit hole to fall down, especially if you start to modify it, or you go with something a little more premium and you're dropping $1,000 out of the box. Again, we're all about value on this show and trying to give you, the most for your money that we possibly can. When we can, a lot of us are starting to kind of upgrade our own products, and we're starting to spend more money now, but we've been there, and it's one of those things where we're just trying to help you make an informed decision. They're fun to talk about because we've had this resurgence or explosion of all these different models and options and types and so on, and you can go with whatever you want in just about any caliber that's out there. So
yeah, except for Travis and AWAG, the rest of us are all cheap.
I used to be, but the older I get, the more I realize that time on this planet is short. You've just got to enjoy yourself with the nicer things if you can. So there you go. Well, all right. And again, shout out to SS Pawn. Thank you for the continued support. Get over to rnldisplays.com. Pick yourself up an awesome AR-15 display. It's the more refined way to display your AR-15. It's furniture for your gun. It's fine furniture for your gun. That's what it is. It's nicer furniture than the furniture than your gun has. So that's all I got to say. Anyway, this has been episode number 210, PCC Chat. Next week, maybe we'll take a look at some Black Friday specials and see what's out there. And I think we'll let you guys go. So have fun, be safe, like and subscribe to everybody on the panel. And we'll talk to everybody next week. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.